what are the two examples of alternate interior? Raise your hand and I'll call on you. Okay, Henry, what's one of them? 4 and 5. Raise your hand and name the other one. Yeah, Austin? 3 and 6. Those are the two examples of alternate interior. All right, and what did we say about alternate interior angles? Put it away, James. They're congruent. They're congruent, so they're the same value. Okay? What are my alternate exterior? Name an example. Yeah. 1 and 8. Okay, close your computer. What's another example? Yeah? 2 and 7. Perfect. Okay, what do we say about these angles? They're also congruent. Okay? What about corresponding? Give me an example of corresponding. 2 and 6. What's another one? Yes. 1 and 5. There's more. 4 and 8. 3 and 7. Okay? What do we say about these? They're also congruent. Okay, what about finally we have consecutive interior. Okay, what's an example? Yeah. 3 and 5. What's one more example? Yep. There's another example? Okay, I didn't hear you. Sorry. 4 and 6. And what do we say about these? They're not congruent, but what do? They equal up to 180 degrees. Okay, perfect. All right. I'm hoping this rings a bell because today we're going to be introducing something fun. It can be. We're going to have some examples like this. Okay, let's go. I know, don't get too excited. I know you guys are excited. If I can zoom in. No. Let's look at this one right here. Okay, so for this one, we need to find both x and y. Okay, so the first thing let's start with is x. Okay, what can we say about our two values for our x? What kind of angles are those with our two x's? They're adjacent, but what else can we say about them? What? Say it again. Say it louder. I can't hear you. They're a linear pair. What do we say about linear pairs? Two angles that add up to equal 180. So if I have an x here and an x here, okay, how do you think I can solve for x? How would I set this up to solve for x? No? Perfect, because these are supplementary. Okay, so this is how we're going to solve for our x. So we need to add them together and equal it to 180. Okay, so when I do that, I'm going to add my x's first. So I have 10x. Then I need to do my negative 4 plus 14. That's going to be 10 equals 180. So I subtract 10 now. All right, and it's 10x equals 170. What do I do next? Divide by? And what's 117 divided by 10? Take notes. You too, Ryan. We get x equals 17. Okay? We found x. Now we need to find y. So how am I going to find y? Just one at a time. So, James? No. Yeah, let's plug our x into this value. Because what can we say about this angle and this angle? They're the same. How do we know that? They're vertical angles. So let's plug in our 17 here. So I got 8 times 17 minus 4. What's 8 times 17? Nikki's put it away. 136 minus 4. And is that our value of y? So y equals 132. Okay? Because these two are vertical angles, so they equal each other. All right? And that's pretty much what today is going to look like. Okay? We're going to do examples together just so you guys can get familiar with it. Okay? But you got to remember all the angles that we talked about. Okay? Let's look at this one. Let's find x first because we have two of our x's. So who thinks what can we say about our two angles with x here? How do we know they're congruent? Say it out louder. Say it out loud, Quinn. They're corresponding. And what do we say again about corresponding angles? No. They're the same. So what do we do to solve for x? 8x equals 9x minus 15. And that's how we're going to solve for x. Okay? We got to get x on one side, so I'm going to subtract 9x over. All right, and then what's 8x minus 9x? Negative 1x. So I'm just going to put negative x equals negative 15. Can x be negative? Nope, so what do I got to do? Divide by negative 1. So x equals what? All right, and then how can I figure out y? Okay, we can do that. Or what can we say about 8x and y right here? Because what are these two angles? About the 8x and the y. Yeah. They're alternate interior, so those are also congruent. So instead of doing 9 times 15 minus 15, we can just do 8 times 15. So what's 8 times 15? 120. And there's our y. Okay? Don't forget about the different possibilities where they can be congruent. Okay? You can plug in 15 here, what Austin was saying, and get the same answer. All right? I just think it's a little easier just doing 8 times 15. Okay? So you can be aware of that. You don't always have to go for those vertical angles. Oh. All right, 1 second. If I can do this. Sorry. All right, let's look at number 3. Okay, we just have x. Oh my gosh. There we go. This is the best I'm going to get it. We just have x, okay? Are these going to be congruent? Are these any of the angles that we talked about? They're not, okay? But how can I solve this then? If they're not congruent, then what can they do? Yeah, they can add up to 180, okay? Because we can say that if this is x plus 9, this is corresponding with x plus 9, so we can say this could go right here, all right? And then this would create a linear pair. You could also say, if this is x plus 9, this angle right here is also x plus 9, because what kind of angles are these two? What can we say about those two? Yeah, they're alternate exterior. So when we have these two angles right here, all right, they're not congruent, but they can add up to equal 180. So what I'm just going to do is just x plus 9 plus x plus 3 equals 180 degrees. And just solve from there. So I'll combine my x's. X plus x equals 2x. 9 plus 3 equals 12. Equals 180. Subtract my 12 over. I have 2x equals, what's 180 minus 12? Okay. Divide that by 2. And what's 168 divided by 2? And x is 84. Perfect. Okay, do we have any questions so far? All right, let's look at this one, okay? This one, all right, we got to pay attention. It says L is parallel to M, which is also parallel to N. Okay? What are we going to do here? What do you think? So what kind of angles are these? It's what? They're adjacent. Okay, but what do we say about two adjacent angles? They add up to equal 180. Okay, so they're a linear pair. So they're supplementary. So if they're right next to each other just like this, all right, we know right away, okay, we need to add these up together and equal it to 180. Okay? So I add my x's together. 6x plus 3x equals 9x. 8 minus 17. Okay, what's that going to be? 8 minus 17. Minus 9, negative 9, equals 180. Add 9 over. I have 9x equals 189. And what's 189 divided by 9? 21. Is that what we got? Okay. Do we have any questions so far? All right. Do these two on your own. Do 10 and 12 on your own. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can go to the office. Mm-hmm. Oops. Plus 6. Yes, it's 7x plus 6. Which one? You set this up wrong. Okay, write what you did here. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What do we do for vertical angles? It's like, how do we figure out y here? Because what do we say about these two angles? Mm-hmm. So what should we do to solve for this one? Thank you. Yeah, do that next one. Oh. No. You said they're the same.
Yeah.
So what should we do with these two? Just equal them to each other. What kind of angles are these? Oops, I just threw it. Yes, you know. You know. Just think, we did that last chapter. Can you write what you did on 12? Write your steps, what you did on 12 for me. Well, yes. But this, you're just finding x.
Okay, so this.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Wait till Nikis gets back. Then you need to solve these two first. What did you do on the first one?
Well, you don't know I did like -1. Got it. I just need to divide that thing.
There's no dividing on the first one.
There isn't?
No? What kind of angles are those?
Congruent.
So if they're congruent, what do you do? No, they don't share a common vertex inside. Thank you.
So if you have angles like this, do they equal each other? So that's it. The x is going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, but you need to write these down. All right. Mia and Maddie wrote, this is what you should have done on those two.
Yeah.
So check your answers on those.
Bro, I was so close on that first.
So write those down. Yep, write those down. Okay. If you have questions, raise your hand and I'll come look at it with you. This thing never zooms in. Or if I zoom in, it's like way too close. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Did you get those written down?
Yeah.
Write them down.
I got it.
Okay, you can go. Okay, do we have questions about those two? All right, I'm going to have you do one more. All right, and you're going to solve for both x and y. All right? Solve this one. Okay? When you're done, raise your hand. All right? I'll check, and then I'll give you the rest of class to work on homework.